Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews Podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Don't forget to like these videos, they'll get in front of the people who want to see them. Share them among friends. Hey, why not help a brother out? And do subscribe to our channel. That way, you'll be the first on your block to see the videos. So, today we're going to talk about three really great cars, all with two seats, all with open tops. So the first we'll talk about, it's lot 283 on collectorcarcanada.ca. It's a 1994 MG RV8. Never heard of an RV8? Well, that's plausible considering it was never sold new in North America. All approximately 2,000 RV8s that were built right-hand drive in the UK. The storied MG mark that you know well from MGBs, MGAs, Midget, and the like. Yeah, they were all built right-hand drive. The car we have was originally built for the Japanese market. It made its way to the Netherlands, where it was converted to left-hand drive. So that's a real differentiator for this RV8. The owner, who's an authority on the topic, he's president of a local MG club. So he knows his stuff, certainly when it comes to MGs specifically and cars generally. He figures there are about 10 RV8s in Canada, and he knows of only one other that is left-hand drive. So a real differentiator. Another nice thing about this car is that owner has serviced the car himself for the most part since he bought it about 10 years ago. What we did is we sold him something else. So that's how it's displaced a spot in his garage, and that's what's made it available. But do take a look at all the maintenance records for it. As I say, it's nice to know it's been owned by someone who also sold with us previously. He restored a TR6, and we sold that one a couple of years ago for him. And he's got another MGB project in the works. But for today, it's the 1994 MG RV8, lot 283 on Collector Car Canada. The next two-place convertible to talk about is an Italian. It's a 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce 5-speed manual car, and it's finished in white over a two-tone black leather with tan interior. So this one is a low miler. It's going to its new owner at under 78,000 kilometers, and very well kept. Certainly the current owners had it 5 or 6 years, and he's done a lot of work to it. You can see records for that on the detailed listing as well. He also commissioned a professional repaint of the car, so the paint really retains a really nice luster, nice shiny paint job. So again, that one's lot 282, the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce 5-speed manual, under 78,000 kilometers. And the last one's a really neat one. You might have noticed we chose to do the intro today along the lake here in Southern Ontario. Another beautiful day. Great theme for our three cars today. So this one is a really special one. It's a kit car. So it is built with Toyota powertrain, but it is a tribute to the Lotus Super 7 of the 60s, which was later built by Caterham. So it's a 2005 model by the registration. It is currently Ontario licensed. And the exciting thing about this one is it's being sold no reserve. The owner of it, who built the car himself, is a master Toyota mechanic. So you can rest assured the Toyota powertrain was well built. We had a lot of fun with this one when we went over to shoot photos and videos of it. Take a look for it. The tribute to the Lotus Super 7 or Caterham. It does have a 5-speed manual with an 87 Toyota Corolla GTS engine and a Toyota 5-speed. So that one is lot 281 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Okay, that's enough of an intro. As the runner goes by, let's get to the cars. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews Podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Before we get to this unique specimen, I wanted to give you the heads up that we also run the Collector Car Stories podcast. We generally issue one or drop one once a week, and they're a little more about the fun side of the hobby as opposed to the really great details of a car we have on offer like this one. So do take a look. The Collector Car Stories podcast. We have a lot of fun with them. We also are always looking for guests for them. So if you have a car you want to tell us about, maybe an event, a collection of cars, any car story at all, drop us a line at admin@collectorcarcanada.ca. There's also a contact us page on every page on our website. Contact us link on every page on our website, collectorcarcanada.ca. So let's get into this car though. As I say, very unique car. The owner estimates that they are probably about 10 in Canada. And he'd be an authoritative source, being that he heads up one of the local MG clubs. And so he carries quite a profile in the MG community locally. We're in Whitby. That's where the car is being offered out of. But enough of an intro. This is a 1994 MG RV8. So never offered for sale new in Canada. This car is a Japanese market car. However, the owner bought it out of the Netherlands in 2015. So it's been in Canada for 10 years, all with him. And he's offering it for sale with a fairly low mileage reading. As I look today, it's in the 96,700 range in kilometers. So it's going to its new owner with under 97,000 kilometers. So I can't tell you that I'm an RV8 expert. I studied up before we started shooting the video. I've spent a couple of hours around the car during our photo shoot and video shoot. But I can tell you that the history on this car basically is that MG wanted to capitalize on the early 90s success of the first generation Mazda Miata. So it thought it was going to bring back the British Roadster. So it decided, however, that not to produce a lot of these. There were 2,000 or so produced in the four model year run of the car. None sold new in North America, as I say. Another interesting thing is they were all built as right-hand drive units, being that this one came from Japan and a British car. So this car's had a few modifications. The biggest one, though, is that it's now a left-hand drive car. This is the only one I've ever seen. So I've never seen a right-hand drive one, but the owner estimates there are 2 in Canada that are left-hand drive. So this one's going to be lot 283 on collectorcarcanada.ca. I think what I'll do next is we'll give it a start and we'll continue with our normal tour of a car. But here we go. We'll give it a start. So I was just treated to a little ride in the car as we shot our driving videos. So I'm hearing that same sort of hum of the V8 engine that I heard during the driving videos. Take a look at those driving videos though. In addition to a start, idle, and exhaust video, we also have driving videos where you can hear this 3.9 liter engine under load. I don't want to forget when we're looking at the engine, the car was rated at 190 horsepower out of the factory, and this is just a little light 2-seater, so it's got lots of juice. But that'll do it for our intro. Let's move on and take a look under hood. I'll pop that hood now and we'll get ready. Okay, so here's a good look at the 1994 MG RV8. I've turned the headlights on partly to remind myself to mention that the owner has upgraded to some LEDs, and he says he finds a big difference with those at night. But this part of the video is more about, the engine. So let's have a good look at that Rover 3.9 liter V8. The car is equipped with air conditioning. I'll show you the high pressure release right here. We did run the air conditioner while we had the car out for some driving videos. I'm pleased to report that it blows nice and cold. Oil change back in November of 24, very little mileage since. And that marker would indicate typically someone who's a DIY renter. The owner of this car, in fact, he just bought a Mercedes off our website, the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL 550. You might have seen in June. The car is only about 20 meters away from me right now, but at his home here, he's got a fully outfitted shop. He sold with us a couple of years ago as well, a fully restored I believe it was a 74 TR6, and he did the restoration himself. So I think it's worth mentioning that that the seller here, as well as having that high profile in the MG community locally, like I mentioned, he also does his own work. And just taking a look at that Triumph from a couple of years ago, maybe we'll flash the lot number up on the screen, but other than the paint, he did that work himself, and it should give bidders on this car some peace of mind. So let's have a listen to the exhaust at idle. Those taillights, I can't help but be reminded of a Bentley. I want to say Arnage, but that's not what I mean. Maybe an Arnage. But yeah, certainly a British look to them. I don't think we need that engine running for any more of the video, so I'm going to cut the engine. And I'll turn off those lights too if I'm smart. Japanese style for the lights, which is somewhat appropriate being that this is a Japanese market car. So there we go with the, again, the 3.9 liter V8 engine by Rover. A displacement that, that was in production for many years with Rover. The 190 factory rated horsepower really gets this lightweight RV8 around with alacrity, I'll say. I will close up the hood, begin our exterior tour. So working our way around, we're starting to get towards the evening here. It's a bit overcast here this evening in Whitby. Again, that's where the car is being offered, Whitby, Ontario. Car's finished in Oxford blue. On a sunny day, the blue looks a little lighter than it looks tonight. It almost looks black on this non-sun side of the car. The sun side of the car here looks a little more blue, I suppose. With those lights on, I was reminded of a Porsche 959. I don't know if anyone else thought that when they saw the lights on. But let's work our way around the car. There's a set of BF Goodrich Profiler tires. I'm gonna put my glasses on to remind myself of the sizes of them. But on a set of MG alloys, the BMW person in me wants to call those like a basket weave pattern. But there's the measurement, 205/65 R15 with a V rating, V speed rating. I'll add that it's a square setup for the tires. Same size at all four corners. And the owner has told us he will safety the car. And he has also told us he's not done a lot of miles on the car, maybe in the range of 30,000. I'll check that with him. But these are the tires that were on the car when he imported it himself from the Netherlands. So this is an indication of an overseas car. We've got the indicator lamp here on the fender. There's a manual antenna right here. We did have the radio on just to test it out, and it was working just fine. You'll see some pictures of it. It's got a RDS radio data system, so when you get it tuned, the name of the station comes up on the display. Here's a good look at the driver's rear tire. Again, 205/65 R15 on the BF Goodrich Profilers. with the V speed rating. The rims look quite good. I suppose with that sidewall, pretty good sized sidewall, the rims are in less danger for attacking curbs, but we didn't notice any curb marks on any of the rims. Matching blue top. That top is a replacement top. Take a look at our detailed listing for lot 283 and you'll get some details about that replacement top. The wind deflector also in place. We've got pictures of the car with the top up and down. It is a manual top. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing for the video I forgot to put the parade boot back on, but for most of our pictures with the top down, the parade boot's in place. It is beige, matching the seats. We'll take a look at the trunk in a minute, and that's when you can see the parade boot. As well as the parade boot in the trunk, there's a cover that covers basically from front of windshield to rear of windshield. I haven't seen this one, but the owner's assured me it's included. He's also got a car cover to go with the car. Fitted car cover. So here we go with the passenger's rear BF Goodrich Profiler 205 65 R15 with a V speed rating. Another nice clean MG rim. No curb marks on it. One observation I had that was interesting is, as I say, I've been around RV8s before, but I've been around plenty of MGBs. Door handles are the same as an MGB, so that would have been popular with the MG diehards. Another item that's the same is these clasps for the top. You find the same ones on the MGBs. And MGB, if I'm worth my salt, I know that MGBs were stopped being produced in 1980, and this car's 14 years later, so it's interesting they were using the same part. Some nice chrome venting here after the hood in front of the cowl, and it's interesting to see the wiper arms and blade finishers are also in a chrome. And here's a good look at the passenger side front tire, BF Goodrich Profiler 205 65 R15 V speed rated. You can get a good look at the get a bit of a look at the red caliper underneath that rim. So being that I said it, I'm going to turn those lights back on even though the car isn't running, and you can tell me in the comments if I'm onto something with the look of those being a bit like a Porsche 959, or if I'm out to lunch. So that'll do it for our exterior tour. Let's go for the interior. Okay, although the interior of the car is pretty compact, I've decided to shoot the interior, at least the start, from the driver's seat. But you can see the burl walnut wood right across the car, even on above the door cards. It really gives it a rich British look, certainly. Not far off from that of a Rolls-Royce or a Jaguar. Instrumentation by VDO. That's a brand I'm used to seeing in Porsches. And the older MGs, certainly MGBs, that would have been Smith's instrumentation. So VDO on this 94 MG RV8. You can see that speedometer tops out at 260 kilometers an hour. And you can also see that odometer reading under 97,000 kilometers. Over here we've got a tachometer, also by VDO, topping out at 7,000. We've got a fog light switch, the AC, as well as the trunk release over here left of the driver. So otherwise the HVAC is here in the center stack, but the air conditioner is only really reachable by the driver. More gauges in the center. We've got a coolant temp gauge over on the left. Over on the right, we've got a voltmeter. And in the center, we have a clock. All three of those are by VDO, and that VDO clock in analog is functional. That is the time right now, 8:38. Just for fun, I'll show you my fancy dancy watch. So we're right on time with that. Couple of vents. There's an external vent here too, sort of external to the passenger. And here's the radio. I'll show you that station display. There you go. So We've got the radio data system there. And a tidy little glove box. Just press that button and it opens up. Another nice little inclusion. There's a bit of touch-up paint in the Oxford blue to go with the car, just in case. And the shifter is quite something. Look at that wooden shift knob with the Connolly leather shift boot. Emergency brake also has the Connolly leather. And there's a good look at the Connolly leather over here on the passenger seat. Quite presentable, quite rich. There's a lighter up here. The owner had it out when I first arrived. I think he probably uses it as a 12-volt power source. But when we look at the other side of it, I don't think it's done much lighting of cigarettes or cigars. And there's a fresh, clean ashtray there as well. I'm gonna climb out, and before I do though, I'm gonna put the key to the on position. Oh, there's your evidence we had the AC on earlier. I'm gonna press that trunk release, because I'll show you the trunk in a minute here as well. Nice to hear a bird chirping in this location. We've had quite a few planes fly overhead. There's a good look at the driver's seat as well. Pretty much in the same excellent condition as is the passenger seat. Often you see the driver's seat with a little more wear. I can show you a little bit of what's behind the seat here too. If I pull that latch, there's another look at the wind deflector from this side, and a little parcel shelf as well. There are little storage pockets behind the front buckets too. So we did release that trunk. Oh, another thing to mention, I suppose, speakers in both the doors and back here as well, as you see. So working our way back to the trunk, some of the contents are interesting. Here's that parade boot I was talking about. I'm sorry I didn't have it on for this video. However, the gray cover is the cover that extends from the front of the windshield to the rear of the top. Got a spare tire change kit, so a jack and a tire iron. And we photographed what was inside of there. I'm really not sure what they were. I might ask the owner to clarify that for me. And there's a beautiful tool roll, branded MG. No pieces missing. All the pieces are intact. Take a look at our detailed listing again, lot 283, for a good look at that tool roll all unrolled. Here's a spare tire, a couple of belts for replacement. And you can see one of the belts is for the air conditioner. Just reinforces that this beautiful RV8 Roadster is equipped with AC. So you can see this is a really clean car. The pride of ownership, or care in ownership, is quite evident. There's a good look at the trunk lid as well. So I think that's a good look at the interior and the trunk. I think I'll take one more quick walk around the car and we can move to some closing thoughts. Which is a good thing, because we're starting to run out of daylight here for today in Whitby. Okay, I always like this angle of a convertible with the top down. Let's move over to some closing thoughts for lot 283 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So that's a good look at our 1994 MG RV8. Again, it's a 3.9 liter V8, factory rated at 190 horsepower. It's got a 5-speed manual to get all that power to the rear wheels. Finished in Oxford blue over a beautiful tan or beige Connolly leather interior. I hope you got a good look at those seats when we did the interior tour, because they're not just any run-of-the-mill leather interior. I remember the first car I bought was a Honda with leather interior, and I was pretty excited to get leather, and then I upgraded on my next car and I realized, oh, leather interior isn't just binary, there are different grades. Certainly this is a fine grade with the Connolly leather. Lot 283 on collectorcarcanada.ca, 1994 MG RV8 Japanese market model via the Netherlands, to Canada in 2015. Under 97,000 kilometers. And I think that's about all there is to say about this sharp two-seater in Oxford blue. Thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Hi everyone, and welcome to another cool car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today we have a 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. It's lot 282 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. Nice clean car, low miler, under 78,000 kilometers when it goes to new owner. Today it checks in at 77297. Again, that's kilometers, so low kilometers on this 1991 Alfa. Car is going to go certified, Ontario certified to its new owner. A huge consideration if the buyer is in Ontario. This one is lot 282 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. It's time to give it a start. We'll listen to the engine, we'll listen to the idle and exhaust, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the review. So let's give it a start. Interestingly, this car does not need the clutch to be engaged for the starter to initiate. So I've got the car here in neutral. I've got the handbrake on. I'm not going to put down the clutch pedal, and I'll just give it a start. So that's a cool start, definitely not a cold start. The car's been driven a little bit as we prepared it for photos and videos, which we've also done today. We also did some driving videos, so take a look at those on the lot 282 detailed listing. But nice easy start, just like the first of the day. And yeah, very clean car, fairly low kilometers for a 91. White over black and tan, sort of a two-tone interior. We'll get to that pretty soon. But for now, I'm going to pop the hood, and the next little while is about listening. Something I'm not very good at. So there's the hood popped. We'll change the camera angle and move on in to get a look at the engine compartment as it's running. So there's a neat look at the sharp profile of this 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed. You might notice the gap on the trunk lid. I've popped it as well because during this section of the video we'll show you the interior of the trunk. But moving in on the engine, it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder longitudinally mounted inline 4, good for a factory rating of 120 horsepower and 118 pound-feet of torque. So I'll move in on those belts and pulleys up front, and you can have a listen. All right, that's a good, I think, listen to the 2-liter inline 4. Again, good for a factory rating of 120 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque. Aftermarket muffler here. Let's get a listen to the idle. There's just something about an Italian exhaust. Even though it's aftermarket, it's got that certain je ne sais quoi. Unfortunately, I only know that expression in French, not in Italian. However, I think that's all we need to do in terms of having the engine running. So I'm going to cut the engine now. And we'll continue on with the exterior tour. So clamshell hood, there is a prop rod right up here. And we'll close that down. If you have a keen eye, you may have noticed there were lights on when the engine was running. That's because this car is a 1991 and a Canadian market model. So 1991, the first year of daytime running lights under Canadian law, Transport Canada regulation. So there's a good driver's quarter angle of the Alfa. It looks like I didn't close that driver's door. I'm gonna do that. So we get a good look at that gap. There we go, nice and firm. So a good look at the shine of the bright white paint. The car has been repainted under current ownership. A couple of notes along the way. Previously, the front bumper was damaged when the car rolled into the trailer hitch of a car in front of it. You'll see an estimate on the Carfax, but no amount. That's because there were no parts used. It was a repair and refinished. And as part of that repaint, the passenger side rocker had some surface rust that was repaired. Moving around the car, the tires are new within under 1,000 kilometers, even though it's a couple of years since they were installed. And the rims have been refinished. So the tires, a set of four, a square setup, so same size at all four corners, set of Goodyear Eagle RSAs. I think I saw 195/60 R15 for these Goodyear Eagle RSAs. And you can see an Alfa Romeo emblem on the center cap and four lugs for the 91 Alfa. Just reminded, seeing an emblem, which we'll zoom on in a little more closely, that the design of this Alfa Romeo Spider is by Pininfarina, the same design house responsible for many other Fiats and even Ferraris. So that's pretty neat. Good lineage here on this Alfa with some of its Italian brethren. Although Pininfarina's work is not limited to Italian cars. Another neat feature of this car, the vent windows functional. We had them open just to show them off, but a pretty great way to manage a bit of natural air coming in through the cabin when the top is down and the AC is not engaged. That's right, I said AC. The car is equipped with air conditioning, which we had blowing cold a little earlier through our videos. Do take a look at the detailed listing. I can't recall if I said it, but we do have some driving videos so you can hear the engine under load as well as idle in this video, and a dedicated start idle exhaust video. Good look at the driver's rear corner, Goodyear Eagle RSA. Again, we've got 195/60 R15, and there's a date code. I think I see 21, so 2021 on the date code. But again, under 1,000 kilometers on these tires. There's an some Alfa Romeo branding, and you can see there a 6-inch wide rim by 15 in diameter. Smart looking design here it is. That fuel door, you'll notice there's nothing to stick your finger into. There's a remote release inside the cabin, right by the remote release for the trunk, which, as I say, I've already engaged. We can take a look inside the trunk right now. I think all that's in place right now is a rag we used just to dust the car as we were doing photos. I'm correct. So black carpet inside, just like in the cabin. I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but the Alfa emblem is embossed into that vertical section of carpet. And there is a spare tire down here. It's a Continental, steely wheel, looks to be original. And there's a good look at the trunk floor, and I don't see any signs of rust, so that's a good sign on that trunk floor. There's a look at the hinges, and as I say, the trunk is looking like a pretty clean unit. We'll close her down, and you can see that trunk fits into place just like it should. One thing I noticed about this car, there are several emblems. So here's an Alfa emblem right here on the trunk lid. Down here under the left indicator, we've got the Sport Veloce insignia. Moving across to our own plate cover. There's an Alfa Romeo script emblem over here on the below the right turn signal. Back to the passenger side rear quarter panel. Look. And I'll mention that the antenna is right here. Out of the factory, it was equipped with a power antenna, and that has been replaced by a manual antenna. I had trouble getting a grip on it just there, but we did have it elevated earlier, so no need to worry about radio reception for the aftermarket Alpine deck. We'll see in a minute when we go inside the car. Good look at the refinished right rear wheel. Again, 15x6 Alfa OEM rim and a set of Goodyear Eagle RSA tires with lots of grip. You can probably see it there on the front passenger side, but under 1,000 kilometers rolled for these tires. Here's a good look at the Pininfarina badge, matching the one on the driver's side. There's one on the same spot between the rear of the door and the front of the rear wheel arch, and a good look at that repaired rocker panel. A lot of chrome touches on the exterior, sort of consistent with the day, late 90s or early 90s. You can see the chrome trim here, chrome door handles, and then chrome surround for the windshield as well. Just after this cowl venting. And color-coded mirrors on either side as well. There's a good look at the last wheel. No hints of any curb rash on these recently refinished wheels. Tire treads look really good. Just in case anyone was concerned about the rear tread, when I was showing the front, there's a look at the rear. Almost new. And a good look at the vent window over here on the passenger side. So a good look at the front. We've got the recognizable Alfa Spider round headlights with a rounded front of the clamshell hood gap opening, hinged in the front, as I say, and the familiar triangular surround of that Alfa Romeo emblem up front. So a sharp car here, white on tan and black for the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. Okay, that should do it for the exterior. Let's go take a look. So 1991 is the model year of this Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. Second model year of the well-known Mazda Miata. Now, some people might confuse this with a first-generation Miata just because of the sequence in time. 91, as I say, second year of the first-generation Miata. But one look at this interior, and you can tell it's a step above. The Italians had the Japanese beaten at this time in automotive history. You can see black leather bucket seats with white contrasting stitch, both around the bolsters and through the inserts. Leather all around. And you can see a matching leather boot for the emergency brake with a wooden handle. Same theme on the shifter. Wooden handle with the black leather boot and white stitching. You see a 5-speed, and they even went to the trouble of placing or fitting an Alfa Romeo badge on the shift knob itself. So moving over to the door card, one thing you might find that's missing are the window cranks. That's because this is equipped with power windows. Now that vent window is manually operated, as you'd expect, but power windows for the larger panes in the door. There's a speaker right here and a mat pocket on the door card, and that's just the latch for the door. Good look at the instrumentation by Jaeger. I think it's Jaeger. It could be Jagger. I only read that name. Jaeger. Over on the left, we see a speedometer maxing out at 220 kilometers an hour. And you can see the odometer checking in at 77,297. So this car is going to its new owner certainly under 78,000 kilometers. I expect it'll go to its new owner with under 78 or 77,400 kilometers. And over on the right, we have a tachometer. I see where the orange begins around 5,600 kilometers. I think technically the red line's at 6,600 RPM. I think I might have said kilometers earlier for that RPM measurement, but 5,800 or 5,600 where the orange begins, and then 5,800 for the, 6,400 for the red line in RPM on this 8,000 RPM tachometer. The maximum 120 horsepower factory rating is achieved at 5,800 RPM. Up above, we have an oil pressure gauge, as well as a voltmeter up top, and then in the center between the two larger gauges, there's a fuel gauge on the left, and then coolant temperature to its right, both placed between the speedometer and tachometer. So moving centrally, you can see that this car's got an aftermarket Alpine AM/FM CD player and lots of vents. 3 here to blow from the blower to get air to the passengers. 2 up here for defrost. And then there are 2 round ones also on the outside edges of the cabin to get cool air to passengers, or hot air, I suppose. But I'm thinking cool air because I was impressed when I saw this little 4-cylinder 2-seat convertible was equipped with AC. I'm also impressed by the still functioning analog clock we see here. And then the HVAC controls are over here to the left of the shifter. Airbag equipped for the driver here, and the Alfa Romeo emblem in the center of the 4-spoke steering wheel. These floor mats are pretty fancy. The owner just picked these up, I guess as a new to you car gift to the new owner in preparation for the sale. So those are in place. We pulled them up for our photo session. You can see the clean black carpets underneath in our detailed listing. Again, it's lot 282 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So you can see an Alfa Romeo designer badge in the center. There's the power window switches. On the far right there, we've got a defrost button, I think that is. I'm gonna pull out my glasses. Yeah, that's a defrost. And then the 4-ways as well. I questioned myself on the defrost because the soft top on this car is equipped with a clear vinyl window, so no glass. But I will add that the vinyl is quite clear. You can take a look at that on our detailed listing for lot 282. I also see the model number for the Alpine here, CDA 7837, should anyone want to ask Dr. Google about all of its features. We have a little crack here in the dash. It doesn't extend beyond that edge. And then the glove box is right here. Some personal items in that tonight. We're not going to open it up. And the passenger door card, looking pretty similar with that door latch. A speaker, the vent window, and then the larger pane, again, controlled by the power switches here in the console. Just noticing the spelling of quartz here. I'm guessing the Italians dropped the T in quartz. Learn something every day. You can see these rotary dials, rotary controls. So there's a manual control for seat recline, and then the fore and aft seat, there's a bar down here below the insert of the seat. We do have the parade boot in place. I don't know if we have pictures of the car without the parade boot, but it's a pretty simple process to get it put into place. So I don't know why anyone would drive around without it. The sun visors also looking quite clean. There's a mirror over there for the passenger. When I say clean, I mean good condition. Not that they're dirty. One thing I did notice though, There's a little bit, there's a rubber here on the door sill, and there's some tears in the rubber or weather stripping. Certainly though, this car has been a fair weather car. The owner would not have taken it out in the rain. So that's a good interior tour, I think, of the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. So that completes our tour of the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. Again, it's equipped with a 2-liter inline 4, factory rated at 120 horsepower, 118 pound-feet of torque. Take a look at our detailed listing. Nice light car. We've got the curb weight on there, and when you read that, you'll know that the zippy inline floor can get this car around without too much trouble at all. Again, under 78,000 kilometers on this 91 model. Sharp car. White over the black and tan, two-tone interior. Alpine aftermarket deck, power windows, air conditioning. A very well appointed car to go with that leather interior. No Miata, that's for sure. Refinished wheels and grippy, recently installed Goodyear Eagle RSA tires. I haven't mentioned all of the maintenance. There's been a lot of maintenance that's gone into this car over the last 3 years. Take a look for the details, not only the details on the detailed listing, but also work orders, setting out the work. And most of it's included on our Carfax as well. So yeah, there we are for lot 282, the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce convertible 5-speed manual. Lot 282 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Hi everyone. Well, we sure have an interesting one for you today. Welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Today we have lot 281. By the book, it's a 2005 Hexa, but we're calling it a Caterham Replica. You could also call this a Lotus 7 Replica. So the background is that Lotus produced a car called the 7 back in the 60s. Caterham produced it later than that. And this one is a home-built kit car produced by Hexa, as I say. There's a little bit, quite a lot of detail in terms of specs on the detailed listing for lot 281. But today we're going to have a little tour of this one. Unfortunately, we're not going to get up close to hear the engine on this video because you can see the aluminum engine cover ahead of me. What you can't see is that it is bolted down. So earlier in our session, we did have the engine cover off. There's a picture of the engine cover itself. We did all our normal detailed stills of the engine, and we also did a start video. So start, idle, and exhaust. So you can hear the engine at idle in that one as well as the exhaust. We also did some driving videos so you can hear the engine under load in those. So I will start the car, and we'll have a listen to the engine even though it's with the cover on, and we'll move back to the exhaust, and we'll start our normal tour of the car. So just a tight little compact package here. Probably won't take too long to do this video, but I'm going to start it up. So no trouble getting idle. I gave it some gas there. I probably shouldn't have, probably didn't need to, but you got to hear the exhaust of the Toyota 1.6 power plant. The engine donor was a 1980, I believe it was an 87, definitely a Toyota Corolla GTS from the period. There's also a Toyota 5-speed in place from the same era. So I'm going to hop out of the car. We'll get a listen to the sounds of the car and continue on with our tour. So there's a good look at the Replica Roadster from one of my favorite angles, the driver's corner 1/4 angle. I might have mispronounced the manufacturer of the kit. It's actually Howa, H-O-W-A, but more details, as I say, on that on the detailed listing for lot 281. So we'll cruise on into the grill. That's probably our best chance of getting a sound of the engine with the engine cover. also some venting here at the rear of the engine cover. Now we're stepping gingerly because the exhaust is a side pipe, as you see here on the driver's side. So let's have a listen to that idle exhaust. Alright, I don't think we need the engine to be running for the rest of our exterior tour, so I'm going to cut it down and we'll start with a new shot. So certainly the Lotus with British heritage, and maybe a tribute we could say, is the mini light wheels that are in place. They're sized 14-inch, so for this tiny little Roadster, they look pretty beefy actually. So they're skinned in a set of Dunlop SP Sport R2s. I don't see a date code on them. I do see a measurement of 205/60 R14 up here in the front with an H speed rating. And you can see that red brake caliper with a set of discs in behind for the front. Again, we've got an aluminum engine cover. You can see these wing nuts. There are 4 of those, 1 at each corner. And then there are standard fasteners up top. 1 at, well, 4 of those in total at each corner of the upward venting here on the engine cover. So we'll get a good look at the profile of the car. Really does carry a sporty little look to it, despite only packing about 112 horsepower factory rating on that Corolla GTS engine. Moving in on the driver's rear wheel, we have 195/60 R14 with an H speed rating here in the rear. And again, discs in the rear as well with that red caliper. Dunlop SP Sport R2 tires. We get a bit of a look at the cabin, but we'll save that for a minute. Working our way back. There is a sport bar in place, and mounted to that is a center high mount stop light or a third brake light, functional. And then the rear panel in the Lexus yellow with not so much a bumper, but a stopper, I suppose we'll call it. And behind our emblem is the license plate. You can see there's a license plate light fixture there as well. Rear tail lights for brakes and indicators in amber. There is a tiny little, well, I won't say tiny, but there's a trunk here. Not too much space. There are several books related to servicing the Toyota powertrain. There are photos of those on the detailed listing. Take a look for lot 281. We took a picture of each of them, and they're all going with the car. And here's a good look at the passenger's rear mini light with the Dunlop SP Sport R2s. No doors on the car, no roof on the car. Fair weather car only. And you can see the VIN here begins with the word kit. We've traced that to the registration. That is the authentic VIN number of the car. And we've got that on the detailed listing as well. Again, lot 281. Yellow fenders here in the rear. And then up front, plastic items in black. Dunlop SP Sport R2 up here in the front. And we've got the exposed suspension here, both the arms and the shocks. There's a little bit of information about those on the detailed listing. Again, lot 281. And a set of exposed headlights and indicator lights with the compact little bumper and grille. So we'll get a good look at the front of the car, and then we'll move to the interior portion of our tour. All right, a tidy interior cabin here, featuring a 3-spoke Momo steering wheel. Pretty sporty number. Again, I'm just trying to avoid my feet and ankles getting near that side pipe, because it'll burn. Typical Toyota indicator light combo with the headlights. And although that says mist, there's no wipers on the car, so that is a ruse. Instrumentation in miles per hour, topping out at 160 miles an hour is the max reading. Under 1,000 miles since the car was built. So I think I see 763. going to the new owner with under 800 miles. Tachometer maxing out at 8,000. And then some supplemental gauges as well above the one key hole for ignition, for the ignition. But we've got a voltmeter on the left. Rightward, we've got the fuel gauge, then an oil pressure gauge, and a coolant temperature gauge. All of those instruments are by Stuart Warner. So we've got 5-point harnesses on the seats. The seats remind me of a Porsche Speedster. I don't know if that's the inspiration for them or not, but certainly that's the look they have. And in the center, we've got an emergency brake, a handbrake. That was engaged. That's engaged right now. We had the car running in neutral earlier, and that brake's been sitting since. And there's a good look at the shifter. It's not a metal shifter. That's a metal look, but it's a plastic. So a Toyota 5-speed transmission as well. So we'll wander over to the other side. I've shown you the trunk. I've referred you to the detailed listing for lot 281 to get a good look at the engine. And here's a good look at the dash from over here on the passenger side. A matching seat, a matching 5-point harness, basic dashboard, but undamaged, nice intact yellow and black portion of the dash. And dual mirrors in black on the sides, as well as the center mounted rear view mirror. And the windshield, not a sealed item. I can get my finger in through there, but there's no defrost or HVAC in the car. So there's no top or windows other than the front one. So no need to have that sealed off. So that's a good look at the interior. Let's move now to some closing thoughts. So there's a good look at our 2005 Hawa Roadster, made to be a replica of the Lotus 7 or the Caterham Roadster. Take your pick. Again, it's a model year 2005 on the registration. It's lot 281 on collectorcarcanada.ca, under 1,000 miles since the build was completed some 20 years ago. And a no reserve auction, I might add. I don't think I've mentioned that till now. No reserve. So this one's going by auction. Highest bidder after 7 days, next Tuesday. Let me think of what the date will be, 19th, 22nd. So highest bidder as of July 29th at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time will be the new owner of this 2005 Hawa Roadster, a replica of a Lotus 7. Lot 281 on collectorcarcanada.ca. I think that's a good look at it. Thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.